Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. What's happening,
Hey there,
everyone?
it's Kirk.
Hey, Kirk. You know what? I'm doing well. Are you on a train today somewhere as well?
I'm not. I'm actually
Nice.
staying put today.
Good, because Jesus, you went from LBI to Trenton, back down. You were on a train the other
Wilmington.
day. Where?
Yeah. Wilmington, Delaware. I went yesterday.
Wow. That's incredible.
And back to DC. Yeah.
And what are some of the wins you've encountered throughout these last couple, days of travel?
Well, last night I went to AT&T, had a Leadership and Disability Awards gala in DC, and my wife and I and a couple of our staff went and connected with a lot of really effective, passionate leaders from the disability community across the country. And,
love that.
That was tremendous.
Very good. And what's on the horizon?
What's on the horizon is going to Atlanta on Sunday. There's an organization called Vision Serve. It's 130 nonprofits serving people who are blind. They're doing an open space planning process for a couple days, and then next Wednesday off to San Jose for our board meeting, where Sean Callaghy, one of our newest trustees, will be joining us. So.
That's incredible.
Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff.
Good. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Adams.
Absolutely.
How about everyone? Ooh, we got Darcy. How about everyone else? What does everyone else present do?
Hey, Fernando, are you coming out this weekend? I mean, not weekend, the next weekend.
To where?
Chris Crone.
Great question. I'm not sure. I know I will be in Miami and Puerto Rico in the world of Sean Callaghy, the NJ Bar Association. So I think it's to know, but I never know with Sean. So you never know.
All right. Do you know if he's going out?
I remember hearing the word Utah, so it's a probability, but I couldn't confirm or deny 100%. But I think there's a high probability he'll be there.
Okay, great.
Awesome. So please spend some time with him. What's going on, Darcy? How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good. What are you thinking about? You're reading, you're thinking. By the way, Darcy's like a rock star. I know she talks in like spurts, but she is in acceleration mode more than like anyone else that I'm around. I love talking to her. We talk like every day. And I always say it's like amazing to think about where our relationship started. But Darcy, like, what are you present to? What are you thinking about? What's on your mind?
Thank you. You're too nice to me. Just being me. But y'all, I'm reading Don't Split the Difference. And in the first chapter, it talks about emotional rapport. And it gives reasons why it's necessary. And it also gives reasons why you should listen, because it basically says when we're listening intently to what someone else is saying, we're not thinking about what we're going to say next. So it's almost like we have a one-up on them, because the other people typically are thinking about what they're going to say next and they don't listen to us. And the book also says you should mirror them. So the last things that they say, you repeat. I don't know, it basically justifies and explains the reasons why. Sean teaches us what he's teaching, and I think it's good if we understand this, if we want to convey the power to other people. So it's helping me a lot. I'm taking notes and I'll send it to everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, if anyone has not gotten Darcy's notes, they're absolutely stellar. Detailed. It's as if she's literally writing word for word what Mr. Callaghy is saying. So as we wait, I'm sure Mr. Callaghy will be jumping on real soon. Is there?
Hey, Darcy. But Darcy, this is Kirk. I'm looking this up on Bookshare. Is it Never Split the Difference? Negotiating as if your life depended on it.
I think so.
Tal
By
Roz and
Boss.
Chris Voss.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay, got it. I'm downloading it in Braille right now. Thank you.
That's awesome.
You're welcome. Let me know what you think of it.
I will.
Beautiful. Anyone else like to share a couple wins as we wait for Mr. Callaghy to hop on?
Oh, and tomorrow's Fernando's birthday. He'll be 28.
Thank you, Darcy.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Much love. Making me blush now. Sergio, what's happening? Michael, what's going on? Chris, I haven't heard your voice in a while. Leland, what's happening, brother? Pete, you are like, in every conversation I'm in, your name is popping up. That's good. We got Tia. I have so much love for Tia. Her husband and I, Craig, we spoke yesterday. Much greatness happening there. Tia is accelerating in the world of National Bank and many other things. So super grateful to have you here, Tia.
Yeah, hey, good morning. Also, Fernando, everybody. Happy Halloween and happy Thankful Thursday. So, what's cooking out there, Mr. Fernando?
What's cooking is I'm present to our conversation from yesterday. I haven't stopped thinking about it. I'm excited to share. I want to give you that thunderbolt because it's massive. It's incredible. I'm present to your graciousness. I'm present to how this formula works. I'm present to your integrity. I'm excited. I've been excited, and yesterday's conversation is another level. So I cannot wait to share with everyone. Hit the acceleration button. It's even more. It's more like a rocket launch button. But it's like, it's game on. So everything that you've ever said would happen is happening. So it's, you know, I'm in gratitude to be where I am.
Yeah, well, thank you, sir. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing amazingly. And yeah, there's incredible things happening. I had the blessing and privilege of having an incredible co-creation conversation with Jay Abraham last night for about an hour and 15 minutes. And it was remarkable, Jay's level of clarity, focus, energy, and excitement around January 10, 11, and 12. He is a yes for any level of co-creation in terms of spreading the message and word. Videos, writings, endorsements, his website, everywhere. And he certainly sees his future in this work. And Jay's an incredible genius at the highest level. And I felt such gratitude as he was expressing, you know, how much and, you know, stuff is out there that people are getting robbed paying for, and how incredible and in-depth and wildly groundbreaking this technology is. And it was an amazing conversation. And in that regard, you know, and with some you know, interesting and in-depth thought processes, I guess here's a piece of where we are. We have an outcome of putting having 1,500. Okay, our outcome is to create a movement. That's what we're doing, and it's to create a movement so that we have partnership, relationship, taking this approach, this fun, this power, this passion, this excitement, this technology, human technology, to the world, so that people can make more money in less time with more magic. And in service of that, and realizing when I was in Promise Park recently, and I joked about it last weekend in Long Beach Island, that if you've ever been to a mall and you've ever seen, or at least the mall by where I am, always the most crowded restaurant is the Japanese restaurant, which, you know, they're cooking in front of you, and you have your teriyaki chicken and all of your other amazing dishes. And so often there's a fine lady or gentleman that's standing out front handing out samples, because one doesn't taste what they don't taste, and one doesn't see what they don't see, one doesn't feel what they don't feel. And there was, you know, some debate going back and forth about how to make that a reality. We've done free events before, and people don't value what they don't pay for, number one. And, you know, there's often, you know, a substantial percentage of no-show people when you do things for free, but at the same time, we want to give out samples. And so it's different if you're standing in front of somebody, you give it to a sample of chicken to them, and they take a bite of chicken. It's not like you're asking them to come back in a month and then taste chicken. So there's there's a leverage piece or a frictionless piece of hand this to them and taste it. So some of what I've been debating and contemplating, and I was having this conversation with many people, including Jay, and the thought is clearly to build a movement, we want to create the least amount of friction, but we also want to ensure that people are committed and are not taking a seat and not showing up. We want 1,500 people in that room. And so, in service of that, I don't think we've settled on a decision. And the decision is that the event is going to require a $497 deposit. If people don't show up, then they've paid for their no-show. If people do show up, then they get their money back. And essentially, this becomes for free. Because everywhere we have gone and everything that we have done, there has been massive acceptance. And when people haven't experienced, what we're talking about, and there's a dilution of one person's explanation to another at this stage, at this early stage, because, we are lacking in general public notoriety to the world. The outcome for this is let's make sure we give the most massive, irresistible, frictionless offer to 1,500 people, begin to build a massive, massive team around the country and even around the world to begin this incredible acceleration. So that is what it looks like, and that is where we're going. We are going to sell tickets, and we're going to sell tickets in a variety of different places and pockets. But for the purposes of the people on this line, you're invited for free, and you're not. If we had the conversation, it's not the $497 deposit not required for you, but for everybody else you're talking to, it's free. So $497 deposit, show up, and be there, on time, day one, and you get your $497 back, and a full refund. So that's where we are. Fernando, is that what you're referring to, my friend?
That is exactly what I'm referring to, yes.
Okay. And so, I don't know, any thoughts, feedback from anybody, from you, Fernando?
I'll give everyone else a chance.
That's incredible. I'm really excited to talk to people. If they don't come, they're not the brightest, I think. This is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, Dorsey, thank you. And listen, so this conversation comes out of a conversation, multiple conversations, but probably 7 or 8 people have said to me, listen, dude, you're going to build the biggest platform in the world, and you don't need the monetization right now going into the event. It's not a need that you make $1 million in this event. Even if it's a break even, everybody wins, including the coaches, the trainers, partners, everybody wins because it creates massive galvanizing energy. And so we were having a conversation with Mass Mutual yesterday, and they were like, Mass Mutual was a yes, but one of the brokers who has people who manage the brokers, has 1,000 brokers in his world, was nervous, and it's I don't want to sell something to everybody. I just get nervous. But when I said, what if it was like this? He goes, well, that would be the mother of all no-brainers, and I would tell everybody. And I would be stupid not to tell people, because I would want to bring 20, 30 people with me, that I could have my own posse inside that room, building business, accelerating our relationships, making more magic happen together, as a way, a meeting and a function and a situation to make plans together. I said, without me saying it, that lands enormously, because that's exactly it. So what does it look like if Darcy is running around with all the people that you're building relationships with, selling to, and partnering with, and saying, listen, let's have our meeting be January 10, 11, and 12. We sit together, we co-create together, we build a relationship together, and we're learning all this great stuff that we're all going to use separately, and we're building our ecosystem merger process together. So the idea now becomes, it goes from, hey, go sell 10 or 20 tickets to, hundreds of people, to now it's go bring 10 or 20 people and make it your ecosystem merger and your world. So whether you're selling, $10 million a year accounts, in software from Salesforce to somewhere else, whether somebody is an attorney looking to generate an extra $500,000 or $250,000 in legal business per year, whether somebody is a coach looking to launch and get their business off the ground, somebody in MLM, America's accountants, everyone, the ecosystem partners, that are the most important. This becomes a galvanizing place to build that relationship. Like, that is what we're doing.
Sean, can I share a thought? It's Rob.
One sec, Rob. Does that make sense, Darcy?
Yes, perfect sense.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Rob?
Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Thursday and thankful Thursday. I think that we all believe in this, right? I'm convinced everyone that commits to this call and committed to this weekend, and even people that weren't there the weekend but committing to the call and the coaching believe in this. And if you could be part of something as big as this is, and this is what it looks like before everyone sees what it looks like. So for every single person individually, commit to, even if they have ecosystems that they're merging with, to bring people, to make a real number with a real goal, with a real outcome based on the science and based on smaller QVC. Right? I love that, Darcy. That was a game changer for me. It gave me language. And when I get language, it's over. I just run wild with it. And if everyone can commit to themselves, not to Sean, to themselves, to go help another person get to this event, it's almost like when you go online and people give the book for free, but you got to pay for the shipping and handling. That's what this is really like. I mean, this isn't about making money January 10, 11, and 12. This is about launching the program where it's never looked back. And I think that if everybody over the next 4 to 6 weeks can really, in their minds, put together a system and process without affecting their everyday, those little things, cinch by the inch, hard by the yard, good things really begin to happen. But it does require a commitment. And it does require writing it out and figuring it out.
And Rob, I've built my whole business this way. It allows me, I mean, I'm just being real now, right, to make millions of dollars a year. And the way that has been created is by creating partnerships and relationships at depth. So the gift to everybody here is anybody that you're doing business with, that you're looking to partner with, client, this is the place to have like your summit connection meeting, facilitated by me, energized by the room, massive breakthroughs in teaching by people within the formula that are living the formula. If they didn't know they were living the formula, people like Mike Crouppen, Grace, the insurance salesperson, Rob, 22Xing, America's Accountant, Dan Geltrude, all over TV, like Jay Abraham. I mean, Jay Abraham, guy that Tony Robbins calls a mentor and had massive impact on his life. Go watch Jay's documentary. That's like in the first 20 seconds of it, as well as Tony saying it in Amsterdam when he introduced Jay. So, like, there is nothing like this. I mean, period. And that 3 days together with that galvanizing energy and the high production quality of what we're going to do is going to be so completely insane that this will be the kind of thing people pay $10,000 for, and it will be cheap at $10,000.
And if anyone on the call wants to talk to me privately on what I would do if I was in their shoes with their ecosystem, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll coach you on exactly what I say and do.
Yeah. So what would you say, Rob? Go ahead. Let's jump in right now. Because by the way, you go, okay, well, what does this have to do with the huddle and getting our day started? Here's what it has to do. You have something to talk about with people. And that's what landed. And Rob was there yesterday with the Mass Mutual guys. I'm like, instead of calling people up and going, hey, buy something from me, this becomes a conversation piece. Hey, here's the Unblinded Sales Mastery Quiz. Have you seen this? Hey, by the way, do you want to make more, like, for real, like, Joe, do you want to make more money in less time with more magic? Do you, Joe, want to make more money in less time with more magic? Like, is that, like, matter to you, any of those things? Well, yeah, like, no, really, yes or no, right? Yes, okay. Well, what could you do better than come to take the Sales Mastery, Unblinded Sales Mastery Quiz, because it is just a complete different way of thinking of both how to generate sales meetings of the highest quality and quantity, and to go from hello to yes, and what could you do better than having people that you want to do business with, right? Like hello to yes is about relationship creation at its core. spending 3 days with them in an environment that's going to be all about yes, excitement, acceleration, and learning things together, creating breakthroughs. Joe, how could you possibly take anybody you're doing business with to anywhere better, and it's free? You couldn't go to a World Series game, an NBA championship, any seminar on earth and create a better outcome. Any dinner, any place, anything. You couldn't take them to Grand Cayman and go scuba dive and create more of a relationship, because the context of the energy in the room, is going to be about business building, facilitated by other people with massive energy everywhere. Like the outcome is going to be, yeah.
I would love to add something to this.
Yeah, please.
I want everybody on the call to realize what I'm realizing is that Sean is actually in this decision giving everyone on this call an unbelievable gift. I mean, the gift of being able to offer this invite to a person in your own ecosystem is just gonna raise your caliber and your value so much. I mean, like Sean just said, it's giving you something amazing to talk about. If these tickets aren't sold out in 3 weeks, like, I would be shocked. Like, it's so valuable.
Sean, I think language is the key, and I think if we could do if we could do a jump off point. I'm going to just use a quick example, guys, and I didn't even think about this until Sean just said something. So let's assume that you're already in rapport with somebody. I want to start there as the jump off versus somebody that's you're just beginning to have rapport. I might say something like this. I might say, look, Mary, Joe, Mark, do you know how every year, you begin to write out your goals for the year? You might go to the gym, or you might want to lose weight. And there's always like some kind of structure on what you're going to do January 1st. Well, one of my partners, who happens to be, by the way, somebody that has created massive relationships with people that you might be familiar with. My partner's having his launching integrity-based human influence program January 10, 11, and 12 in Jersey City, right at the perfect time to really galvanize what you want to do for the rest of the year. And do you know how, like, when you get started, you can't get past for the first or second week sometimes, and by the time January ends, you're already off your path? The solution here is the brain science that he's created through the Cali Results Formula, which is a 3-day immersion. And in that immersion, when it comes into, really where you want to go and where you are and then how you're going to get there, there's a clear map, a massive action plan on how to get there through understanding influence, process, and self-mastery. This will be primary influence mastery with integrity. And the result will be, if you follow the path, by year's end, based on some of the numbers of the people that I've met there and some of the things I've experienced with my own relationship with Sean, you might be able to 20x your business based on how you apply it. I happen to be, one of Sean's partners early on. There's opportunities that I have, and I'm bringing other people here with us from an out-of-pocket standpoint that may make this seem inexpensive, and I assure you a year from now it'll be way more expensive than it is now. But January 10, 11, and 12, when everyone's just kind of resting after New Year's and trying to figure out what they're going to do next, there's an opportunity here to really take any part of your life to the next level that you want to use these principles for. I mean, I might start the conversation like that and then get into the tests and everything else. But that's how I might language it up a little bit. Do you know how, what the benefit to you is, so I layer it 3 ways. Do you know how, right? So do you know how, like for financial planning, I'll say, do you know how you get statements in the mail all the time and you don't have financial organization? Well, we have a model that puts all that data on one landing page so you can see everything clear, and it's constantly updating. And the benefit to you is all your decisions are based on logic, math, and science, not emotional, timidity, or gut level hunch. I would apply those 3 questions to language when it comes to take the rapport once it's built and then begin the process of bringing them to the formation agreement. That's what I would do. That's what I am doing.
Yeah. And I would, emphasize just one emphasis. Like, pause after that and say, all that simply said, there is no legitimate objection to not coming January 10, 11, and 12 unless you have an unavoidable social or family obligation. Like, if that's the case, it's unavoidable. That is the only legitimate objection. If you want more money, in less time with more magic. That's it. That's the deal. And, you know, for everyone, you know, it's your choice, you know, what you do with this or not do with it. But the ability now for me to galvanize even my own world. And so I'm the one doing it. Like, I'm paying for this event. And I believe in this that much that I'm literally paying to create this. Because
When Sean
I know
says
the
he's
value.
paying for the event, family, let me be clear. I make sure that he's not paying for that event alone. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So it's going to be completely insane. And again, I cannot emphasize enough the tool that this is for conversation. The tool that this is for conversation with people you want to create a relationship with. It's like every new conversation you're having with humans should include this as saying, listen, just like come, like, you know, and let's co-create in that space. You know, so that is there, that is present, for sure. And also, again, feel free, for the folks on here, you're invited. And if there's people you feel like you'd like to invite, please let us know, because it's not an open house, but please let us know. You know, for December 20th, for the Calgary Christmas and Holiday Party, which will be the Christmas and Holiday Magical Extravaganza of all extravaganzas, which also we will, you know, share about January 10, 11, and 12 there one more time. But, you know, it's just an exciting time. And to be focused and clear, because I realize that I see things that people don't see, and sometimes people get really overwhelmed. Here's the deal. You are building your own leadership over ecosystems. And ecosystem leaders lead people to do things, right? So you're building your own ecosystem, like in the How to Create a Movement TED Talk. And this is a tool. You know, we talk about ecosystem merging. That's what this is about. The acceleration of your sales meetings. Because if you look at this conversation today as like something disconnected, like separate from, as in not together with your world and your business, then we have not been doing a good job on these huddles. This is an ecosystem move that certainly benefits me, right? I'm not confused, but it massively benefits you. And to be clear, if I make an extra, you know, $2 million a year, which is not what I'm doing this business for, quite frankly, I want it to be, you know, $100 million, $500 million, and eventually $1 billion company to create massive impact in service of humans and the acceleration of people in the capitalist system. If you're not getting what to do with this, as Rob said, please ask. Like, that we're not chastising. It means that somehow we're having a value chain breakdown in our communication. If you're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Please ask. If there's something you don't understand, I don't understand how to explain it. I don't understand why that would benefit me and other people, you know, in our direct business, then please ask, you know, please ask.
Sean, can I add one other comment?
Yeah, go, Rob. Yeah.
Adding on to what you just said, because it was a teaching moment for me, which I'm constantly learning, guys. Yesterday was a great example. All right, now let me be true. Let me just undress myself. The people that I brought to the table yesterday, we had a call with 3 weeks before that. That was, at the end of the day, pedestrian at best. Is that a fair statement, Sean?
I think we could fairly say that it ended horribly.
Yes.
Because this guy said we had an all-star dinner of all-stars of leaders of all these organizations, and he said that he didn't want to come to that dinner, and he wanted to only like wait. It was Rob and I were irate, blown away, and it was like in our egos were engaged, like everything was happening. It was all kinds of challenges. So it was
and
hard.
as everyone knows our dynamic, can imagine, of the two of us, because it was really my backyard that I brought to Sean. My eyes were red, and the smoke was flying out of my ears. Right, so just visualize that. And I was so disgusted. And this is the teachings of Sean's, you know, the Calgary Result Formula. I didn't even want to have the second meeting. But and I want everyone to know this, because we all have people that we have really good relationships with. I'm sure that in those relationships, there's people that may work for them. And I assumed, because I had a good relationship with person A, that it would ripple down to person B without without, building the rapport. And Sean pointed that out right after we hung up the phone. That's the truth. So we had the follow-up meeting yesterday, and I was still mad. I went into it mad. I was I couldn't wait for an opportunity to confront. And that's the truth. Because I felt so disrespected, and I felt so in my ego, and I was in my ego, and Sean would attest to that I was just looking. I had double guns barreled, and I was just looking to go right at them. You know what I mean? Anyway, long story endless. Sean did what he did, does what he does.
Sean thing.
Yeah, and which I've seen numerous times, but this was different because it was in my backyard a little bit. So, and it was always like a touchy thing when we think about people that were close to a business and how that kind of goes back and forth. And by the end of it, it was a really good meeting, and there's a lot of good things that are going to happen from it from an opportunity standpoint. But I think what Sean was just saying, the reason why I jumped on was because if there's because in that situation, we failed to build rapport before that call when the guy said no to everything. And the lesson was building rapport, through the principles and, through the influence strategy, the 4 steps.
Yeah.
So I just want
Rob,
to throw it out there.
thank you, Rob. But stay with me, Rob, because
Yep.
there's, probably a dozen lessons. We won't go through them all. But a second lesson is how much knowingness and fear they had. And so when they took the quiz and we went through the answers of Willie Loman and Shelley Levine, like you could feel their pain. And like you could feel them associating themselves to those people of the limitation, like it's not going to work. Like the energy was palpable. And these were high knowingness people, high ego, high significance, right? And, doing sales forever, dealing with 1,000 brokers. And at the end of it, knowingness was shattered. And it was like, literally, it was hysterical because I told everybody where it was going to end. I did my bold, as Fernando calls it, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it, the Sean thing. And because it's integrity. So thank you, Fernando, for that. Like with integrity, right? Because it's good for them. It's amazing for them. It ended with the guy saying that the leader of knowingness, the leader of ego and significance in the moment, who's a beautiful soul, great person, family man, right? Saying, it would be ridiculous not to do this. And I was like, oh. And I was laughing, not at him, but of like life. Like 3 weeks ago, it was like, I don't want to get sold something, and the tsunami of Sean Callaghy. And
yeah, we did a video on it.
Yeah,
the video is the tsunami of Sean Callaghy.
Yeah, and then it ends with, I'd be ridiculous not to do this. So, I mean, what a blessing the formula is, what a blessing life is, and how many lessons, because
and there's one other lesson I want to share with all the good folks that are thinking about doing videos.
Yes, then I want to anchor, and then we're done.
Yeah. Hold on. Just stay with this, guys. So, the one guy that resisted the whole way through happens to be watching videos at midnight of Sean.
Yeah.
Like, knew every video at every date and time. Like, he literally is a fan. And he was still resisting, but he was a fan. So I found that to be an interesting dynamic because some people don't comment, some people don't text, but there's a lot of people watching.
Yeah, and you know what I said too? Let me go one more and then I'll kick it to Fernando. Just remember this. Salespeople who use words like, which is like all salespeople, who use words like close, prospect, target, like when you're communicating with them, they're like in their own feeling of manipulation because they feel like they're manipulating, so they use those kinds of words. So when you're beginning to communicate with them, they're like, I'm not going to get closed. Like, I'm not going to, I know what's happening. Like,
you kept looking at me saying it. You're not going to close me, Rob.
This inherent resistance, and I just confronted it. I'm like, you use the word close. And he's like, yeah, all the time. I'm like, and do you want me to close you? He's like, no. I'm like, I went right at it. I'm like, I'm not trying to close you, dude. Like, I'm trying to communicate with you and have you see what you don't see. And he's like, oh, yeah, I get it. I said, you don't. I said, no, you don't. Like disruptive Zeus energy, like we did on the 4 o'clock training yesterday. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. And then here's a final access point, and I'll take it to Fernando. And I know this is long today, but man, this is rich. This is a rich one. So I said, because there's like 1,000 brokers in their organization or some number, or 150 across the country in this major insurance company in this space. I said, because they're like, everybody buys. So we were dealing with everybody with heavy objections that were irrational, heavy objections. But here's a piece I can drop for you magically, because I talk about mastering exponential income differences. Watch this one. So I said, listen, I said, you're talking about how you have no ability to affect anything because, like your job is different, your world is different because everybody buys on price. I said, so what I'm hearing from you is that everybody who does your job, like in the wholesaling space, right, has the very difficult issue of really dealing with everybody buying on price. You tracking, Fernando?
Yes.
You with me, bud? Yeah.
I'm here.
So price. So everybody's buying on price, right? I said, so Fernando, if everybody's buying on price and there's 150 people doing this, I said, is your price the least? And they said, no. I said, okay. I said, but is everybody's prices pretty close? They said, yes. I said, so that should mean that if there's 150 people that are selling this stuff nationwide, right, for your company, then Fernando, and everybody's buying on price, then shouldn't everybody be making the same amount of money, Fernando?
Yeah, based on that sentence, yeah, that sounds logical.
Yeah, because they were fighting for that point. I said, okay. I said, let's see if you're right. I said 150 people. I said, what's the average that somebody makes doing this job? And they said 50,000. I said, okay. I said, what's the least? They said 0. Some people make nothing. I said, what's the most? They said over $1 million. I said, so you're telling me that nobody can impact how this all goes down, but somebody makes 0, the average is 50K, and some people make over $1 million. I'm like, respectfully, do you know how ridiculous that sounds?
Love it.
No, you're right. You're right. So I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to help you see what you don't see. That's it. So I'm helping to reveal truth. And the answer is the formula. The answer is what we're doing. The answer is reconditioning your thinking. I said, because brother, here's the 4 things people say about you. You're a nice guy. You're a good family person. You're steady and consistent. I said, those are some, but not nearly enough of the heroic, unique identity characteristics. And the anti-hero characteristics that are present are knowingness, ego, closed offness, and that's the difference between X and 10X, plus 50 other things to go from 10X to 100X. January 10, 11, and 12. You're insane if you don't use it and bring everybody you love and know. So that's what that conversation sounds like that I engage in, Rob engages in, you can engage in, everybody engages in, because it ends in a yes. And people seeing their future in you first. That's the key. Fernando?
With time, just want to anchor on, this is, there's like Zuckerberg and Facebook, and comparing anyone to Sean is an understatement, but this is like Tesla creating like a beautiful world. And the difference between that, how that story ended and how this is going to end, is that this movement will prevail and it will win. And this doesn't happen often where a gift like this is given. It's literally being handed to you. All objections have been completely eradicated. Any objection is irrational, emotional, and doesn't make sense. And that's such an advantage. And realize that it's not about January. It's about the future ecosystem merging, the current from now to then merging. You are now have been given a tool to give someone the gift of more money and less time with more magic with absolutely no resistance. It's an absolute no-brainer. And I want to support all of you in accelerating this to like the 10th level. Because here's the problem. Ready? Here's the problem. This will close off faster than we thought. And the only issue is that you're going to miss out on giving the gift because you took too long. That's the only problem now. So with that being said, Sean?
Yeah, here's your tool of acceleration. We're going to go have some magic on Halloween. Anybody in New Jersey that's a part of this call, or anywhere in New York that wants to come to Calgary Law and do a little Halloween parade, have some candy apples, donuts, and do some reverse trick-or-treating, where we go out and give candy out throughout the building and connect with people and kids and things, you're more than welcome to come by. We have a lot of fun all day long. So,
and feel free to reach out to me, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, PM-wise.
The ambassador.
I'll answer any question, subject matter specific. Action-oriented, straight line, subject matter specific action that leads to formation agreement.
Yeah. The straight up ambassador. Happy Halloween. Happy Thankful Thursday. Have an incredible, amazing, and ridiculously fun day. Thanks.
Thank you.